Seems like the perfect time to talk about that young lady that's calling around the churches, and she has the crying baby recording in the background, and she's asking baby formula, and most of the churches seem to be turning her down. So let's actually discuss this, because I think we can tear into this. We can learn something from it. The churches that are turning this down, so back when I was younger, when I was a kid, what they used to do is they used to have vouchers, and it was real specific. So if you called up a church and you said, hey, I need baby formula, for example, they would say, okay, come down to our office, and then they would give you this voucher. They would have things worked out with local grocery stores usually, and they would put in the memo line for baby formula. So it was real specific. So you couldn't use it to buy cigarettes or alcohol. Like you actually had to use it only to buy formula, and the church got to take a tax, or the store got to take a tax deduction, because what they would do is they would sell it basically at cost, and they would take the deduction along with the charitable aspect of what the church was doing. That's what used to happen. I don't know if that's happening any longer. In fact, I don't think it is. At least in the broader sense. What can we learn from this overall? Well, the argument that many of the churches make is that if you do this for one person, then everybody's going to abuse the system. Okay, that's a legitimate argument, and I'll take that. But that means you have to default back to the teach a man to fish thing. There's not many that I see out there teaching you how to fish. And I don't mean that in the sense, like, first of all, if you're going to teach somebody how to fish, you have to teach them what a fish is. What I do here, for anybody that may be new, because, nobody goes and watches, the hundreds of them. Nobody freaking does that. Is try to explain to you how to not be ripped off. When you catch a fish, and then you go to market to sell it, how not to be ripped off. By whoever's giving you counterfeit money for that fish. There's a reason why Josh tipped over all those tables. It's because it was counterfeiting. The money changing thing, for those of you who don't really understand what was going on there in the temple, the money changing was a counterfeiting operation. They were exchanging worthless coins for coins that had gold in them. And the people didn't really fully understand that. They were taking advantage of the people going into the temple. That's what's happened. And they were doing it in the name of God, and they were doing it to help the Roman Empire and help themselves along the way. That's what was actually going on. So that's why Josh was so upset about that whole situation. I am not a Christian, by the way. Just so you know, I'm an atheist. I'm just telling you that's what happened. So, yeah, if you want to teach people, something like that's what you're going to do. But I don't think any of these churches are going to do this, because they all live off of fiat largesse. They all live off of this money printing, this counterfeiting scam that's going on, this massive counterfeiting scam. The US dollar is a gigantic Ponzi scheme, and it is a counterfeiting operation. Why do you think everybody's on that list? It's to keep them quiet, so that they're not safe on the inside, and they're also not safe on the outside. They have to do as they're told. There you go. Happy Sunday.